Hello everyone, hope you're well. I don't think I've done a vlog yet with my glasses on, so here they are, new glasses. These don't steam up when I talk, which is very good. And also I learned that if I wear a mask and put them like that, then the two kind of work together without steaming up. So I'm finally able to see in full, glorious, like 4K level eyesight stuff, and no longer have to drive with no glasses on, which has been a bit worrying. I mean, I can see okay without them on, but I do like having them on so that I'm definitely seeing everything as clear as possible. So yeah, I titled this video something along the lines of me being a massive moron. And those of you who were on my stream yesterday when I was playing Back for Blood with the MGP people know the basics of the tale. But I am a moron for several reasons, not just the one that I talked about there. But yeah, reason number one, I was at EGX at the weekend with Kev, Anna and Pab, and we basically arranged that I was going down there Saturday morning. Pab and I were staying in a hotel overnight on a Saturday, but Kevin and Anna were already down there on a Friday. I was all excited, packed the night before, got up early, thought I've got to get down there for 10. So I got my phone out and I typed in Westfield Shopping Centre, got the postcode, stuck it in my sat nav, and off I drove. And the drive down there was fine for the first hour and a bit, and then it all kind of went mad, and it was very frustrating to the point where the speed limit kept changing, and that was throwing me massively because all the cars around me were doing like 50 or 60, but the speed limit was 30 and 40. So I'm nervous about that because I was trying to stick to the speed limit, and I think I succeeded very well, but it was changing so much and people were going so fast, I had no idea what was going on. And I kind of think I'm probably all right there. I'm going along on the sat nav and it's telling me go down this off ramp and turn right. As I go down the off ramp, it switches to go forward. So I follow the sat nav, realize I'm going through a red light because it switched right away, and it was just a mess. I drove around this roundabout 3 or 4 times, and it was just a joke. I got to Westfield and I'm looking at the big car park, and I'm at a traffic light, and it's all the arrows are saying you can turn right. So I turn my car right. I realise that I'm driving, and all the arrows are facing me because I've just literally turned right when I actually needed to go across a road and turn right, which was not labelled. It wasn't clear. So I had to do a U-turn on a road so I wouldn't crash into oncoming traffic. There wasn't any there, luckily, but it could have been very dangerous. So I kind of thought, right, if there's cameras about here, they've got me on camera going through a light. They've got me on camera going down the wrong way on a road and going slow in an area where everyone else is doing way over the speed limit. So what a mess. So I was very, very hectic at this point. When I finally arrived at Westfield, I was looking for, so Kevin told me Premier Inn or John Lewis is next to it. And so I was following signs for them. Well, I was following signs for John Lewis. I couldn't find signs for Premier Inn. And Kevin was like, there was definitely signs. And I said, well, I'm in car park A. And he said, well, maybe there's two car park A's because he was in car park A and it had been really clear for him. So I spent ages driving around this car park. Like, not, again, going the wrong way, getting lost. Because basically, it asked you to go left or right. I went right, couldn't find Premier Inn. I thought maybe Premier Inn's on the left. So I was driving around in circles, up and down, trying to find a way to make the jump across to the other side of the car park. But there was just barriers everywhere. Like they hadn't considered that someone might want to do that. So I was trying to drive down to the exit and then like turn off away from the exit, and it just wasn't an option. I faffed for ages to the point where the security van started driving around near me, just keeping an eye on what I was doing because I think they didn't want to confront me in case I was just a shopper, but I think they were getting nervous because I kept seeing them appear. I'd park up, they'd appear, I'd drive off, and I thought, oh my God, I'm making myself look so suspicious. So I finally pulled up, I got my suitcase out and everything, and I walked off out, and I'm wandering around Westfield thinking this doesn't look the same as I remember it. It's all very different from the last time I was here. So I'm like messaging Kev, Pab and Anna saying I'm outside HMV. I didn't even know there was a HMV here. I think I'm in the 90s, and I'm going up and down, and there's really loud music in there. So that was making me feel even more like hectic and mad. And I'm starting to get lost, and this guy says to me, like, do you know where Primark is? And he wasn't English, so he was going, Primark? And I'm going, I'm lost. And he would just say Primark louder, and I would shout, I'm lost louder. And to the point where he was just going, Primark, and I was going, I'm lost. And in the end, I just walked off because he wasn't listening. So he went off, and then after a moment or so, I realised, well, I got my phone out and I put in Premier Inn, and it told me I was an hour away from the Premier Inn, and I was like, how can I be an hour away? It's a shopping centre. So I started looking up Premier in Westfield, and then Premier in Westfield, Olympic Stadium, and it kept telling me, yeah, I'm an hour away. And I was like, how can I be an hour away? And then I think Kev messaged me as I was figuring it out, and he was like, are you at the right Westfield? And I was like, I'm at the wrong Westfield. And we turned out there's a Westfield in Shepherd's Bush in West London, and a Westfield in Stratford, East London. And I just followed the sat nav to the wrong one. So I got in the car and I drove to Stratford. When I arrived, I had a text from Kev going, just get the train. It'll take you 10 minutes by train, whereas it's going to take you an hour by car. I've been driving for an hour at that point when I saw that text, and I was like, ugh. But yeah, it was as long driving across the 10 miles across London as it was driving down from Peterborough, 100 miles. I do not understand. I only stopped like probably 5 times along the way, a couple of red lights, but somehow that 10 miles took a ridiculous amount of time. Like, you never got up to 60, obviously, because it was London. You got up to 30, but we didn't stop that much. I don't understand how it took as long as it did, but it did. So I did say to him when I realised, I was like, I might just drive home. I'm so gutted from how bad this journey has been. I don't want to do this anymore. But once I was there, I was happy. We got out and off we went to EGX. EGX was very small. It was nice being there. It was fun being there. I like EGX a lot. I love it. It's a highlight event, but it was just not enough. You know, they should have probably waited, if I'm honest. I'm not going to slate them. They did the best they could with what they had and that kind of thing, but there was Back for Blood and Baldur's Gate, and I don't play Baldur's Gate, and I've already played Back for Blood. I don't really. This is going to sound awful, but I'm not really bothered about indie games. I don't go to Rezzed because I'm not bothered about them. They're not interesting to me. Too many people have made indie games, and I know that sounds mad as I'm an indie I'm an indie podcast, indie vlog, indie everything, and I just feel like there's just this whole scene of people. I mean, I'm not bad mouthing indie games, but this whole scene of people that make these games, and some of them are really original and great, but that's very few and far between. And I don't mean that in a mean way. Again, I'm just saying I don't feel the sparkly, cuddly vibe that people get excited about going into an indie game bit. Most of them look like what they are. They're 2-3 man bands making a game, and I'm not into it. I can't lie. I'm just not into it. So I didn't really look at them that much because, like, in the old days, I used to go through all of them and play all of them, and I just find it awkward because they go, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "Yeah, cool." So I don't really. I'm happy to play. If you say, like, some people who watch me stream say, "Will you play my game? Can you play my game?" I'm like, "Yeah, go on." And I do play some, and I'm like, "That's really good." Sometimes I don't like them, and I'm like, "What do I say now?" Because you can't say to someone that thing you've sunk your entire mortgage into in 5 years of your life. I didn't enjoy it. So yeah, it is hard, but yeah, more power to them. So I feel like it was EGX with a heavy focus on that, and TikTok and IKEA being there and stuff like that, and the cosplay. And really, for me, the stalls would have been the main thing that I'd be interested in. That's what I'm looking forward to at Comic-Con, but there wasn't that many of them there. And I was hoping to see Pokemon, and the Pokemon we knew weren't there already. So I had fun because it was with Kevin and Pab, but I'm looking forward to the next one more. The next one will be proper EGX. This was like a stopgap. I'm glad I went. I go to them all. I want to be part of them all. But the things they were focusing on because they had to weren't really my shtick. So yeah, that's my overall review of that. We went for a travel round. Well, Joe, we were supposed to go on an adventure around London, but we went to Fortnum and Mason, which I've never been. I don't think I've been in there. It's a very expensive shop. Didn't buy anything in there that day. We went to Forbidden Planet and a couple of other collectory places the next day, which is more up my street. That was good fun. I just had a good time. It was nice. Once I'd got past the hassle of the journey and getting it all wrong, it was just funny. It was just a good laugh. I was constantly making stupid, dumb mistakes. I I don't. Part of me's like, don't tell this story, but I'm going to tell this story. I have flushable wipes that I put down the toilet, and Pab was like, "Sheepdog, you've blocked the toilet with these flushable wipes," and I was like, "That's annoying." So I I spent 5 minutes sorting that out, and then realised after, basically I bleached my arm afterwards with alcohol gel and soap and boiling water. I was like, my hand was hurting. I'd boiled it so much. And then I realised I had rubber gloves in my bag because I was so nervous about getting ill in London. I'd taken face masks, I'd taken alcohol gel, and I'd taken 100 rubber gloves, with the plan being I would take them off between trains and I would only play games with them on, and I wouldn't touch anything, and without having a rubber glove on. Which is what I did. I went on a train with a rubber glove on, held onto the bars, was absolutely fine. Other than being incredibly knackered yesterday, I haven't really felt that ill. Like, I felt a little bit under the weather, but I've avoided any kind of plague, touch wood, so far. I did a COVID test, I'm fine, that kind of thing. But I was seriously knackered on Sunday and yesterday. But yeah, I was furious with myself for not remembering to put the glove on because, yeah, hotel toilets are not the nicest thing ever. But it was a quick fix. It was just disgusting. So what else happened? I'm also frustrated because anyone who follows me on Twitter at RB6K knows that in August I put a jokey tweet out saying I've just changed energy companies from Scottish Power to somebody else, and they messaged me after I'd cancelled saying, don't cancel your direct debit because we need to settle everything up. And I was like, oh no, I've already done it. Whoops. And I just sort of made a joke of whoopsie. I didn't know I shouldn't have done that. I just cancelled it because I was moving to Sainsbury's. After I did that, I got a message from Scottish Power saying to me, don't leave. We've got a better rate for you. Sign up to this rate and it'll save you money and it'll be good and blah, blah, blah. So it was very convincing, and I said, yep, cool. I said, but I have cancelled my direct debit. I'm sorry about that. I'm a moron. I didn't realise I shouldn't have done it. I just did it because I thought I don't need to pay you anymore. And here is my details. Please reinstate it. And they're like, yep, we'll reinstate it for you. That's no problem. So I took out the new rate, and now a month on, I got contacted saying, we tried to take your money and the direct debit's been cancelled. Please ring us. So I rang up thinking, easy, just give you the bank details, job done. But they're like, no, we are now saying you owe us basically the month and a bit. I think we had a small amount on the account we owed them, and then adding a month's worth of energy to that has made it a couple of £100. So straight off the bat, I paid them. They gave them 300, which would be 2 months worth, basically, just over 2 months worth. So I paid them 1 month, and I was like, look, the bloke said to me actually that I owed a month when I left, and he convinced me if I stayed with them, rather than having to pay loads of money up front, a couple of £100 up front in 1 month, he would just knock it off at 10, 15 quid a month over the next year. So that was something we'd agreed on the call. When they rang me, they were like, you owe us 300 quid, and I was like, well, hang on, I'll pay you 130 of that now. Job done. The rest I'll be paying off over the year, because that's what we agreed. They're like, no, we can't set up a direct debit because if we set up a new direct debit, we have to change your tariff. This is the tariff we have now. So the tariff I had in September would have been £127 a month, including some payback. So about 107, I think it was, he said, and me paying 20 on top. The tariff they're offering me now without payback is £215 a month. And I said to them, no, you can just get lost. Like, I agreed that last month, and you've not set the direct debit up like you should have. But you need to keep me on that direct debit. I'm not changing to one that costs me an extra £100 a month. That's insane. Like, no one's going to do that. That's ridiculous. So they told me they'd get their complaints department to talk to me because no one can fix it except complaints. They have the power to fix it, blah, blah, blah. They told me it'd take a little while. So on Friday, I said, that's fine. Here is £130 to cover the month that's just gone. It basically halved the amount I owed them, just under halved, but pretty much. I could have paid the rest, but I just thought, no, we've an agreement in place. That's what I was expecting to do. Here's the £130. I'll see you later. Since Friday, they have contacted me 14 times now. And that's only because today they've only contacted me once. They'll probably contact me again at lunchtime and again tonight. And every time it has been their direct debit team, their debt team, telling me that I owe them money. They're not ringing me to say, let's fix the problem. They're ringing me every time to say, there is a balance of, I can't remember if it's like £180, £200, something like that. There's a balance of £200 on your account. Can you pay that now? And I'm like, I paid you on Friday for some of this. The rest of it, I've told you needs to come off with the monthlies. Set up my direct debit. And they're like, there isn't a direct debit in place. To do that, we have to move. And I've had the same conversation, not all 14 times, because some of them have just been the department ringing me, and they hang up straight away, and then I ring them back, and they say, "Oh, it was us calling you. Sorry." So I've just had so many texts, so many emails, and so many calls now hounding me because we owe them this money, and I said to Claire, like, I mean, I could just give him it. Like, it wouldn't be ideal because I'm going away with my mates this week, and I've got money aside for that. But I could just give him that and then kind of be a bit cheaper this week. But I said to Claire, I'm not paying him it because we had an agreement. They can listen to the call. We had a deal. We were doing it this way. But if I pay them it and then I set up a new tariff, they're going to want to charge me £100 a month more on energy because it's all gone to poo now, hasn't it? And they are being awful. Like, genuinely, don't go with them. Like, even if they fix it now, don't go with them, because if you ever get in a hard way where you owe them anything, they're going to hound you to death, which has been really upsetting. I went so ballistic at the woman who rang me yesterday because I was like, you are the 13th person who has tried to contact me on this. Like, I answered the phone thinking she was ringing me to she was like, went through everything, and I was like, you ringing about the complaint? And she was like, no, I'm ringing you because there's a balance on your account. And I just went, oh, F off. I was like, you F off right now. I was like, get the F off. Like, just stop ringing me. And she was like, hang on, why are you annoyed? And I said, because you're the 13th person that's rang me. I was like, I'm sorry I'm swearing, but you can just F off. I was like, this is a joke. I was like, if I was vulnerable, if I was stressed, if I was in debt, if I was poor, and my choice was feeding my kids or paying this bill, you F off. Like, you can't treat people like this. And I went ballistic. I was like, you need to get a different job because what you're doing is not right. I was like, you are doing bad, evil work at the moment, chasing people like this. Like, you need to find another option. It's not good. You shouldn't be doing this. This is bad. And by the end of the call, she was very much like, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. And I was like, get a manager to call me. The next call I get from you needs to be a manager. I said, I swear. And I had a missed this morning. My phone went off and immediately it rang and went away straight away. And I genuinely think it was somebody getting it on their pile, ring this person and chase them, and they've read my note as I've hit dial. They've seen my notes and they've thought, I ain't ringing him. I'm not ringing him. But I've been absolutely harassing them on Twitter, and they keep saying that a manager's going to ring me, and then the manager doesn't ring me, and they just chase me for this. And it's annoying because I know deep down that they kept saying, well, you cancelled the direct debit. And I'm like, I cancelled the direct debit for the previous tariff, the previous deal, because we were at the end of it and I'd moved away. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to do that because I might come back to you someday. I thought we were done. And I would, if they'd have rang me and said, you owe us an extra, I think it was like 80 quid. I don't know how much it was at the time, whatever it was at the time, you owe us that, I'd have paid it and gone. But the fact he rang me and said, well, actually, we can do you a good deal. We'll set you up a new thing. I specifically told him to set up a new direct debit. So I'm very stressed by this at the moment, as you can probably tell. I don't normally swear at people on the phone. It's not normally what I do, but I have been effing and jeffing at this woman because she was so smug as well. She was so like, oh, another person in debt. Come on, pay your bills, you scumbag. That was the vibe I was getting from it. And I was just like, no, because if I was genuinely poor and genuinely at a loose end and genuinely trying to make ends meet, which I have been in the past, I know how it feels to be that kind of someone's chasing you for a bill and you haven't got it. The amount, I mean, I'm full disclosure, like the amount of times I've rang my mum and dad and gone, can I borrow a couple of grand just to get me through the next few months, and then I'll pay them back. And I mean, if really full disclosure, sometimes they've even gone, don't worry about it. Don't pay us back after a time. And that was when I was much younger. But it's just, I'm very lucky. If they weren't there and I was just ringing up no one because there wasn't anyone, I'd have been destitute several times over. I've been very lucky over the years. So to have someone like that ring me and treat people like that, I'm not worried about myself so much. It's just disgusting. I'm so annoyed with them, and I'm going to keep hammering them on social media and over their phone because they're just bumheads. And I said to Claire, part of me just wants to pay them off and move, but I know I can't move anywhere else. It's literally the only tariff that I can realistically not afford. That's the wrong word again. It's just like, why would I pay £100 more? Because the prices have gone up. The prices have gone up to an astronomical amount at the moment. We are being royally screwed by Brexit at the moment, and all of that, and it's just ridiculous. It's just a nonsense. I hate it. From a school perspective with Ollie, things are looking the same, to be honest. I had a call with the head. I told him where we were. He's trying to be creative. He's trying to find ways to make the afternoons more educational. We agreed Ollie's not really able to do the afternoons. He did till 2:15 yesterday. I think he's doing that today. I need to double check what time I'm picking him up. But long story short, he was knackered yesterday when I picked him up. He was absolutely knackered. He was so tired, bless him. He was in really good spirits, but he was just tired. And she said to me, he's had a really good day, but he's very knackered. And he was. He was really pooped. And I just thought maybe we could build him up to getting used to going 2:15 and then 3:30. But 2:15 doesn't really work for us. We either need it to be the whole hog or half days. I can't really take a lunch break at 2:30 and justify it too often. So he said that he'd send us a laptop home so Ollie can do maths. He said he'd send us. He wanted to make some sciencey cards with Ollie. They are coming up with new things. They went for a bug hunt, and apparently Ollie got really upset on Monday because he Friday his TA was away last week, so he'd been working with a cover teacher who he had last year. I think I mentioned he had a cover teacher on Wednesdays that didn't seem to get on with him. I thought, and he never really spent any time in her class. But then on Monday, she and he were, well, on Friday, sorry, they were looking for bugs out in the orchard and doing this bug list. So when he arrived on Monday, he was expecting to go out with her and complete the list. He had to see like a woodlouse and a butterfly or something. And his TA was there, and he was so upset that his teacher wasn't there to finish it. He really felt she was missing out, and we'd agreed to do it, and she's not going to get to see the final bit. And I think he went and found her, and he did create a bit of a scene. The head was like, we understood why, so he's not being punished for it, but he created a bit of a scene. He like climbed over a table. He was getting all upset that she wasn't coming with him, and yeah, it was difficult. But he said other than that he's been all right. It's just where we are. We're just waiting for the EHCP people and the ed psych to talk and come up with a plan and basically agree that he's moving, essentially. Even, I mean, the head hasn't said anything different today. He said he'd like to try and make it work. He'd like to keep him there. He'd like to fix it, but it's probably not fixable. There's not really an answer, so that's that. But Ollie's happy. I bought him some, in Forbidden Planet, I bought him 6. He's addicted to Adventure Time books. He loves them. He thinks they're brilliant. I say addicted, that's the wrong word. He loves them. And in Forbidden Planet, for some reason they were selling them for like £2. These used to be 15 quid books. That's, you know, Ollie's got like 20 of them that cost 15 quid, and then he got 6 new ones, and the combined 6 cost me 12 quid. Not even that. I think there's a couple of them were £1. So I need to go back there next week and see what other sale they got on, because I wasn't sure which ones he had and which ones he didn't. But I gave him this pile of books the other day, and that night he read some, and then the next night he read some. He come down to me at 10 o'clock at night, and he was like, "I finished the books you got me." And I'm like, "That was 6 books, Ollie. You've read all," and they're like, you know, sort of this thick. You know, they're not flimsy. They're comics, but they're not flimsy. You know, there's a lot to read there. And he just binged them. He loved it. He was like, "They were really good. Thank you very much." I said, "He will reread them. He rereads the other ones. He's read through those 20 books. So now he's got about 30 books to read, I guess, like of Adventure Time." But I was very, very impressed. I said to the head, he likes reading a lot, and he's really good at reading now. I just need stuff. I need entertaining ways to get his handwriting and his maths up, because he's learning a lot in science books. He's learning a lot of reading from books. I don't really think he's ever going to learn all the grammar and sentence structures and things like that he'll probably need. Not at this environment. He'll need, you know, at his next school he might learn that, but who knows really. I don't think he's going to sit and listen to anyone teaching him how to use an apostrophe or things like that. I don't know. Maybe he'll pick it up. I kind of picked it all up as an adult, if I'm honest. Like, I was taught it at school, but I was kind of peer pressured into doing it because my writing used to be terrible. My mates used to say, I'm not talking to you on like Messenger unless you're using the correct spelling and grammar. And so I'd make an effort, because they'd just be like, "I can't, it does my head in reading your right." I used to just write all over the place and spell words I want, and they'd be like, "This is disgusting." I have quite brainy mates, so it kind of, you know, like, they raised me up a bit. And that's basically the story of my life, isn't it? So I think that's everything. Everyone else is good. Emily's under the weather at the moment. She's off school today. It's not COVID. She's just got a splitting headache. She's had so many tests and all this. I've been very nervous because obviously tomorrow I go away with my mates, so I've been trying to avoid any bugs I can. I feel fine. She's got a headache. Everyone else is fine. It's just, bless her. I think she just needs a rest, and it's getting to the end of the term and that kind of thing. But yeah, this is getting a bit long, so I'm going to wrap up there. I am a moron. I can't believe what a moronic week I've had. I've got to drive the 5 hours down to Devon tomorrow. I'm going to Axminster, something like that. We've already checked. There is an Axminster in the Bahamas, so I wouldn't mind ending up at the wrong Axminster, to be fair. But I'll drive there. But I've got to go to Hitchin to get my mate, and then Axminster to hang out with all of my mates, all of that group of mates. Sorry, because Kev, Anna, and Pab are my mates too. I need to stress that because they keep saying that I'm acting like they're not. And then when I'm back on Tuesday, so basically I've got no vlogs and no streams from tomorrow onwards until I get back on Tuesday because I'm going to be knackered on Monday. So I figured I'll stream Tuesday, try and do a video Tuesday if I can. And then after Comic Con, we'll be back to normal. Everything will be back to the way it was. But this month's been a bit of an upheaval and a bit of a mess. So yeah, I'll wrap up there. Thanks for watching. Hope you're all well. Join me on Twitch later if you can. I'll be on from 8 actually because Claire's running late tonight, playing Minecraft, and we're nearly coming to the end of that. It'll be Pokemon soon, so Pokemon and Back for Blood probably will be the two things we play. But yeah, we'll enjoy Minecraft while it's there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all soon. Cheers.